what to expect, what it's like to be in a locker room, and really how to go through the ups and downs of playing football. So it's super valuable to have somebody who has that experience and somebody who's close to you, somebody who's going to give it to you straight. And he's always shot me straight, so I'm very appreciative for him and all his knowledge.
Does he make you sit down and watch his highlights every now and then, everything?
It's funny that you say that because it happened this past Thanksgiving. So we watched some of his Michigan State highlights, and he was official. He was official.
It'll happen next Thanksgiving too.
I'm looking forward to it.
Tyler, who have you officially met with here?
Officially met with a ton of teams. We'd be here all day if I named them. So.
Tyler, as far as interior O-line goes, you're one of the most dominant run supporters and blockers in this draft. How do you feel like you can contribute in the pass game at the NFL level?
I feel like I could contribute in the pass game at the NFL level and at a high level. If you look at my tape, you can see me passing off games, calling out games beforehand, and that's due to my preparation throughout the week. Like I really take pride in how well I prepare for the games and how well I prepare for stunts, because that's something that the stunts really trickle down. So everybody does the stunts on Sunday, and those are going into the game plan for Saturdays in college. So really just preparing for those, and I'm looking forward to really stepping up as a pass protector as well.
How would you feel about blocking for Tua Tagovailoa? I don't know if you have met him.
I haven't met Tua, but I've heard a lot of great stories about him, and I've only heard great things about Tua. So it's great to block for and play with any other Bama guy, because we're wired a little differently. So having him, having his leadership, it would be great. That would be great. I look forward to that.
I'm assuming that Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins coach,
I haven't met him yet.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I made that assumption.
It's all good.
We need to meet him.
How's it going through this process with multiple Bama teammates being here as well?
It's going great. We really just compare notes, really talk about how the interviews are going, and then it's always great when you have people here to support you. And the brotherhood and the bond that we share is like no other. So I'm glad to see all my teammates out here doing well.
Can you talk a little bit about
They're really interested in my leadership. That's something that I've heard from every team that I've spoken to. They want to see how my leadership will fit into their program, and if I'll be comfortable leading in a room while being the youngest guy. My response to all of them, where I have to earn the right to lead, and what I mean by that, I'm not going to walk in day one and start telling a 33-year-old with 2 kids, a wife, and a mortgage what to do. That's just unrealistic. But I will learn from him and learn from everybody else through that program to see how I can contribute as a leader. And once I start playing, once I cement myself in that starting lineup, that's when I'll start to lead and really take over from that standpoint.
There's a lot of talk about big coaching change happens at Alabama like that. Did you as players feel more onus to sort of take on some of the responsibility and be, like we got to step up, given that there's a seismic change at the top?
Oh, definitely. So as players, because at that point we saw it was up to us to keep the standard alive. Like Coach DeBoer, he had never been at Alabama before. He had never been under Nick Saban before. So being being so, we have to keep the standard going. And that was something that we spoke about all offseason and all season. So I'm really proud of everybody who stayed, everybody who left and then came back. But just to really stay and be a team during a hard time like that, it was crucial for us, and that bond that we have as a team, like I'll never forget that team. I think that was even though we had better success in previous years, this might be my favorite team that I played on, just because of how close-knit we were, how tight we were as a team. And I love everybody in that locker room, and I hope they all do well.
Can you talk about the experience of playing under Nick Saban early in your career?
Oh, it was great. I love playing for Coach Saban because he pushed everybody the same way every day. The same way he would get on me is the same way he would get on Bryce Young, is the same way he would get on Will Anderson. So he didn't care who you were. He was always going to get the best out of you no matter what it took.
The Lions taking a lot of Bama guys in the past couple of years. Has that been the team you've been with down here?
Can you say that one more time, please?
The Lions have scouted a lot of Bama guys over the past couple of years. Is that a team you've been with down here?
I have. That meeting went well. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad to continue to put on for all the Bama guys.
What do you like about run blocking?
I love how physical it is, and I love how it gets. I feel like that's one of my strong suits. I'm able to put my weight, put my body on people, put my power on people, and it wears down on you after a while. It's hard for people to sit in there and take going against Tyler Booker all day. So the more you wear down, the more success I have later in the game.
Everyone talks about
Alabama. What was it like competing against Chris Braswell?
Oh, it was great competing against Brad. So actually, Alabama was the first time I had seen Brad. He actually got 2 sacks on me in high school, my sophomore year, his senior year, when he was at St. Francis Academy. And he always let me know about it. But Brad's a great competitor. I'm excited to see how he continues to progress and grow in the league.
This week, have you met with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I have not.
Tyler, have you met with the Houston Texans while you're here?
I have.
What would it mean to be on a team with Will Anderson?
it would mean a lot to be on the team with Will Anderson. And, as I mentioned my leadership earlier, I've learned a lot of my leadership skills from Will. Being around a guy like that who loves the game of football, that's something hard to pass up on. Like in the game of football, not everybody loves it. I'm a guy who loves it. I'm a guy who eats, sleeps, and breathes football, and not everybody does it. Some people play for the money. Some people play just because they're good at it. But I love the game of football, and Will is another person who truly loves the game of football just as much as I do.
Everyone talks about.
Excuse me? I actually haven't met with the Dolphins yet.
So what kind of running back is Michigan going to get Justice Hayes?
They're going to get a great running back out of Justin Hayes. They're going to get somebody who really cares, somebody who I can say Justice really loves football. He's always doing whatever it takes to take care of his body, and they're going to get a great running back and a great player and a great leader as well. I'm very excited to see how Justice plays at Michigan.
Everyone talks about the athleticism that Jalen Milroe has at quarterback, but can you talk about him as a quarterback and being able to block for him over the last?
Oh, yeah, being able to block for Jalen Milroe is great because he makes me look good even when I play bad sometimes, or I have bad plays, excuse me. And then what people don't see is how Jalen Milroe led pass protection meetings every day after practice. That's what people don't see and don't know. Like, so just seeing him step up even more than he did the year before, that was great for us, and that really helped us pick up a lot more blitzes. And as you can see, that related to the sack total from my sophomore year to my junior year. So him really taking charge of those meetings, that helped us a lot as an offensive line, and also helped me learn a little bit more about football, just seeing what things that he looked at, like, okay, I can see this guy's feet are even, he's not blitzing. This guy, he's inching, he's looking inside, he's blitzing. So I'm very excited to see how he does in the league, and that's my boy. I love Jalen.
When you had a chance to meet with the Raiders,
I have.
you had a chance to meet with the Bears. What did it sound like they wanted in offensive line?
When I met with the Bears, it was more of just them listening to how I speak about offense. They wanted to see my knowledge. It wasn't a lot of back and forth.
Tyler, your run game concept, like if it's 3rd and 2, you gotta have it, 4th and 2, whatever. What's the one play you want in your call?
My favorite run game concept is duo, and Coach Sheridan could tell you that whenever we weren't having a lot of success on offense, I was calling for it, and I was pretty much I was one thing short from getting on the headset and telling them, like, hey, we need to run duo. So I was just trying to get duo ran, and that was because it gives me and my left tackle, Caden Proctor, a chance to be at the point of attack on the play. And I love like whenever they called that play, that's when they were like, all right, but go ahead, be you. We're counting on you. And I love when the team counts on me. And then just playing next to Caden Proctor, that's a big, strong guy. So whenever it's me and him versus one person, we often had a lot of success.
Tyler, you mentioned who are the top 3 offensive linemen in the NFL right now?
Oh man, you put me on the spot here. I have a top 3 favorite. Definitely Trey Smith is number 1. I like watching Landon Dickerson a lot. These are guys who I watch. Landon Dickerson a lot, and then I've always watched Quentin Nelson even back in middle school.
When you watch them, what are the things that you try to take from them?
Their technique and how they play and how their bodies move. So Trey Smith is a guy who is a similar size to me. So just seeing how he moves his body, seeing how he uses his body against certain guys, because you can't watch every single offensive lineman because they do things that you just can't do physically. So understanding that, you got to know who to watch and what to take from them.
We talked about Quentin Nelson.
You mentioned leadership and going in an NFL locker room, and you got guys with wife and kids and mortgage. I found that to be some pretty good perspective. So I'm curious, just from your standpoint, like this is a formidable time in your life, not just as a football player, but as a man. So I'm curious, do you ever think about that? Like you're working so hard to be a great football player. One day you're gonna have to have a family, you're gonna want a family, things of that nature. So I'm just curious that perspective for you.
Me growing up and being such a good football player has prepared me and helped me also grow up to be a great man as well. So some of the lessons that you learn in football are very translatable to manhood. Like in football, you're going to have to go through a lot of adversity. And in life and in manhood, you're going to have to go through a lot of adversity as well. So just being around a lot of great men in my life, they have helped me prepare for that. They've taught me a lot of things, and I see football as interchangeable with my life. I've been wanting to be an NFL player since I was 9 years old, and it's hard to say, like, okay, tell us about your personal life and tell us about your football life, but because since the age of 9, it's all been intertwined, it's all been one.
You spoke about Quentin Nelson.
What does it mean to you to be a captain? And then how do you lead?
For me to be a captain at the University of Alabama, it meant the world to me just because of the captains who came before me. So I remember my freshman year, the captains were Bryce Young, Jordan Battle, and Will Anderson. All 3 of those guys, they gave their all. They showed me what it meant to lead, especially Will, just hearing how vocal he was and seeing how he wasn't afraid to call anybody out and how he was the guy on the team. And that's something I always wanted to be. So I just took a lot from what I learned from Will and added that to my repertoire of leadership. And I lead by knowing who I'm leading. Like you can't lead everybody the same, just as you can't coach everybody the same. Some guys react well when I get after them, like, hey, you're not practicing hard enough. But some guys will shut down, or even will shut down when they hear that. So first and foremost, I have to know my teammates. I have to have a natural love for my teammates, and then I'll know the best way to lead them.
Tyler, you mentioned Quentin Nelson earlier. What would it mean to join a room and learn from him if you joined the Indianapolis Colts? And also, have you been able to meet with that team?
I have, and being able to play with Quentin Nelson, that would be great. Somebody I've been watching for a long time, who has had a lot of success in the league. So being able to learn from him and be in the same room with him, that would be great.
Can you talk to me about your meeting with the Raiders?
It went well. Had a great time. Really, just went over my office, and they wanted to hear me talk about how well I knew the previous office I was in.
Tyler, what's your favorite aspect of being a weight room worker? What do you really like to work on?
I really like to work on hand clean and power clean because that's a triple extension exercise, and that's very relatable to the game of football because whenever I come off the ball in the run game, that's me rolling my hips. It's essentially a hand clean or a power clean. So just like I mentioned duo, you got me and Caden Proctor power cleaning through you to put you in a linebacker's lap. So that's why duo is my favorite play.
Your 3-rep max?
3-rep max and power. We never did 3-rep max.
Have you met with the Giants?
I have.
They're a team last year that loved to run duo. Did they talk to you about that at all? And just the physical presence they want in their offensive linemen?
Yeah, they asked me what my favorite run scheme was, and I said duo, and everybody kind of looked at each other and smiled. So that was a good sign.
Who's some of the young guys in Alabama we're not talking about now that we will be talking about next year?
Somebody that you're not talking about now that you will be talking about next year. I'm not sure if it'll be next year, but in the future you'll be hearing about Will Sanders. That's a guy who's an Alabama native. He didn't have the biggest name coming out, but he's somebody who works hard every single day. He would be borderline annoying sometimes, just ask me like, how did I look? But I appreciate that from him because he had a want to learn. He wants to learn all the time, and he loves the game of football. Like you could tell he loves the game of football, and he wants to be great. And he used somebody like me as an older guy to learn from. So I'm very excited to see how Will progresses over the next couple of years, and I'll always be rooting for that guy. He's a great guy and a great football player.
Tyler's guard position gets undervalued in the first round for tackles, for example. But what about your game do you believe makes you the best offensive lineman in this class?
My tenacity and my relentlessness makes me the best offensive lineman in this class. Like what you see on play 1 is what you're going to see on play 80. Like I'm always trying to finish you. I'm always trying to put you on your back. I'm always trying to take a little bit of your soul away play after play. And that's what makes me different from everybody else. And that's been the same from game 1 when we played Western Kentucky to the ReliaQuest Bowl when we played Michigan.
What's your ideal playing weight? What do you feel is your ideal playing weight?
Around 330 to 335. That's what I played at this past year, and I had a lot of success there. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is where I need to play. If a team sees fit for me to be 320 or 325, that's where I'll be. I'm all for team success.
What is something that you wish you could have shown more of during your time in Alabama?
Something I wish I could have shown more of. I'm not sure because everything that we did at the University of Alabama, it really helped show off my strengths. And I really enjoyed all 3 offensive coordinators that I had, and all of them had their knack, their play, and just me being able to have a lot of success under 3 different offensive coordinators shows my flexibility and me being able to perform in any offense.
This game was the love of the game.
Yes.
Why do you love football?
I love the game of football because it's the ultimate team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. Like you need people to win football. Like in basketball, one player could take over, and that's the most relatable sport. Like one person could take over, but football, you need everybody, especially on the offensive line. Like you need all 5 guys doing the same thing at the same time in order to have success. And the football also just teaches you a lot. Like no matter where you are in the game of football, like adversity is going to hit. How are you going to respond? And then everybody loves to play football, but when it's easy. But who loves to play football when it's hard? And I feel like that's what separates the good guys from the great guys at the game of football. And then ultimately, I just love the aggressiveness and the tenacity of the game of football. Like how is legal assault out there, and I love football because the brand of football that I play, I make guys not love football anymore, and I do that every down by really just giving them my all and letting them know I'm not going to let up. So the thing I love the most about football is taking the love away from other people.
Tyler, do you feel comfortable playing both left and right guard at the pro level?
I do. I played left and right guard my freshman year of college, and I had a lot of success doing that. And I would even switch during the game, so I would do two drives at left guard, two drives at right guard, so I'm very comfortable playing both.
Last one
the
for
first
Kyler.
players that you matched up against, and did you meet with Seattle?
The favorite player that I matched up against was T.J. Sanders from South Carolina. He's somebody who had a great double hand swipe. That's something that he was known for. That was his signature pass rush move, and that's something I had to prepare for throughout the week. And he was a great player, and he was also great in the run game. So that's somebody who I really enjoyed going against, and I did meet with Seattle. And it
Thanks,
went well.
guys. Thanks, guys. That's it.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.